Stone moment in Philadelphia's history that unfolded just minutes after midnight. The statue of former mayor and police commissioner Frank Rizzo, the subject of multiple protests and long seen by critics as a symbol of racism and police brutality, finally removed from its place in front of the Municipal Services Building. The decision, it has neighbors split. Listen.
I think it's totally ridiculous. I can't see why they would take it down. It really doesn't have anything to do with what's going on right now.
I do see it as a good token gesture, but unfortunately, I do receive it as just a gesture.
We also spoke with Rizzo's son, former Philadelphia City Councilman Frank Rizzo Jr. He told NBC10 the statue is gone and there is nothing that can be done. So let's bring in University of Pennsylvania Sociology Professor Tukufu Zuberi. Professor, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Jim.
So let's begin with the polarizing legacy Rizzo left behind. He had his supporters, we know that, who saw him as a devoted public servant, a proud son of South Philadelphia and a Navy veteran. But we know many saw him as well as the leader of this city during its darkest days. What do you think this means for his statue to be removed today?
I think that this removal of the statue is long overdue, and that people really need to empathize with their neighbors. That's the only way to have a good neighbor, is you have to see life as if it was coming from their perspective. He was not only divisive, he was harmful. And he did things which had devastating impacts on the African American community, especially in those moments where people were trying to make Philadelphia a better place.
For those who weren't around during those days, can you sort of enlighten them on what he did that was so harmful?
Well, he took a very aggressive attitude towards dealing with civil rights organizations like the Black Panther Party. He had a very racist demeanor in so many cases, whether it was with older people, adults, or younger people, high school students, and how he directed the police when he was the police commissioner to respond to them, and how he gave the police kind of a carte blanche to be very abrasive when they dealt with the African American community when he was mayor. It was, in fact, during this time that the police department was even investigated because of its behavior towards individuals in the African American community.
Today's mayor, Jim Kenney, he did not hold back his words against this statue. He called it, quote, a deplorable monument to racism, bigotry, and police brutality for members of the black community, the LGBTQ community, and many others. He also said removing the statue, it's a symbolic move that the city is promising to do better. Do you think this will help bring some kind of reassurance or trust out there, or even quiet the storm of protests going on around the city, or is this a step in the right direction?
Of course it's a move in the right direction, because it's saying we need to change this narrative. We need to become sensitive to people that Rizzo was not sensitive to. We need to take into consideration people's stories who we didn't believe. I mean, you know, all of this stuff about people getting killed by the police, harassed by the police, knees on necks, chokeholds, has existed for a very long time. The problem is that people didn't believe it until they could see it on film.
Mm-hmm. We know the statue is not the only monument, though, here in Philadelphia to the late mayor and police chief that's now on its way out. The mural on 9th and Montrose in South Philadelphia. Could these public monuments ever help create a peaceful discussion, or do you see them as a potential lightning rod for more controversy?
There's no way you're going to get me to say that a statue which has been erected in order to memorialize an individual who thought I was less than a human being is a good thing. We don't need that statue. Give me a statue of Harriet Tubman.
University of Pennsylvania Sociology Professor Tukufu Zuberi, we thank you so much for talking with us tonight.
It's my pleasure. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.